Welcome to today's deep dive. Today we are taking you through, a really fascinating transcript overview that breaks down something called TRIVERSE architecture.
Yeah, it is definitely a fascinating one. And this concept actually serves as the foundational architecture for two different platforms, right?
Yeah.
DiriPedia and Consciology.
Exactly. But what really hooked me right away is the core premise here. We usually view the struggles of navigating our modern digital age endlessly scrolling on your phone when you really meant to go to sleep. We view that as a moral failing.
Right, like a lack of willpower or something.
Yes, exactly. Just a personal flaw. But this document reframes those struggles entirely as system architecture problems. Okay, so let's unpack this.
It's a brilliant reframe, honestly. Instead of judging your screen time, this TRIVERSE framework maps out the reality you actually live in by breaking it down into three distinct operational environments. The first pillar is the DiriVerse,
which is essentially the human life system, if I'm reading this right.
Yeah, think of this as your own internal hardware and software. It consists of your physicality, your cognitality, and your intrinsicality.
And those are labeled as R1, R2, and R3 in the source material. So instead of just saying human nature, we are treating human traits like system components. So R1 is your physical body, R2 is your cognitive processing,
And R3, intrinsicality, represents your core drives and values.
Right.
Exactly. That DiriVerse acts as your primary human orientation system. But you aren't operating in a vacuum. You are constantly plugging into the second pillar, which is the DigiVerse.
Right, the entirely artificial digital ecosystem we swim in every single day.
Built of algorithms, artificial intelligence, global networks. And this environment is specifically designed to influence the behavior and mindset of your DiriVerse.
So if the DiriVerse is me and the DigiVerse is the algorithm, how do they actually bump into each other? I mean, before I get to that, what about the third pillar? Because if we have the human and the digital, what else is even left?
Well, the universe, or the UniVerse system.
Oh, like the literal cosmos?
Yeah. It might seem a bit odd to include the literal cosmos in a tech framework, but it provides the fundamental physical and energy boundaries for everything. Your body needs sleep, and server farms need electricity. The laws of nature govern both the human system and the digital system.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because the true value of this framework isn't just in defining these three spaces, it is in analyzing the friction between them.
Yes, exactly. So doom scrolling isn't you being quote-unquote bad. It is a systemic friction point between a DigiVerse algorithm optimized for infinite engagement and your DiriVerse cognitality, which naturally gets fatigued.
It's like trying to run a massive 3D video game on a 10-year-old laptop. The laptop isn't immoral, the system architecture just isn't built for that environment.
That is a perfect analogy. The framework allows for a systemic analysis of exactly how you engage with this intense digital technology while still being inextricably bound by the physical limits of the universe.
It gives you a topographical map of modern existence so you can start blaming yourself and start debugging your interactions. But practically speaking, what is the ultimate point of mapping all this out for platforms like DiriPedia and Consciology? What do those actually do?
Well, we connect this to the bigger picture. The architecture functions on two levels. DiriPedia uses it as a massive knowledge map to organize information about these interactions. And Consciology uses it as a strict scientific framework for actually analyzing human digital behavior.
So what's the end goal for the user?
The ultimate goal for you, the listener, is to help you detect digital paradoxes.
Digital paradoxes? Like what?
Situations where a digital tool promises efficiency or connection, but actually causes system failure, like feeling more isolated the more social media you consume. By identifying these paradoxes, the framework helps you maintain the coherence of your own self-system amidst the overwhelming complexity of the modern digital environment.
Wow, it really takes the guilt out of feeling overwhelmed. And it leads to such a powerful conclusion. Successfully navigating the dynamics of our modern age requires clear environmental mapping rather than moralizing. You just need to understand the architecture of the system you're plugging into.
Which brings up an interesting angle for you to think about today. We talked about how these digital paradoxes cause friction, but let's take it a step further into your physical reality.
Okay, I'm listening.
Think about the last time you felt physically exhausted after sitting perfectly still for an hour on social media. Was your DiriVerse actually depleted of physical energy? Or was that a phantom glitch?
A phantom glitch?
Yeah, a cognitive overload from the DigiVerse tricking your physical body into feeling tired.
Oh, wow. A phantom glitch. That is a fantastic question to leave off on and definitely something to chew on the next time you open an app. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive, and we will catch you next time.